Alright guys, for sake of schedule, I'm going to move us on. Finish practicing if you want after this. But hey, one thing that I didn't mention is what happens if someone gives, the different responses. If someone says camp 1 or 2, that's a great opportunity to encourage them and affirm them and be like, that was me for a long time. But Jesus wants a camp 3 sort of commitment to him. And if you want to get there, I would love to keep reading the Bible with you and help you get to that sort of commitment to Christ and make that decision. So that's what I would say to a 1 or 2 person. And then if it's camp 3, I'm fired up. And I ask them if they want to pray and tell God that decision. And then I'll pray for them. And then we'll begin what's called follow-up. And so later this semester, you're going to learn how to establish someone, how to bring someone through follow-up. And you're also going to learn how to process the gospel, which is called process evangelism, if someone is right here the first time you share the gospel. So we're going to be equipping you guys throughout the student leader meetings this semester on what to do next after you share the gospel with someone and they say either yes or no to that first time. That makes sense?
Yeah.
That clear? Sweet. Last portion. I want you guys to hear from someone who did a really good job coming back from their first Kaleo of sowing broadly, building friendships, and sharing the gospel. And so please help me welcome up Mr. Nico Garcia.
In 1 Corinthians to kind of show this vision of what it means to build friendships and sow the gospel. And so in 1 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 20 through 22, he says, "To the Jews I became a Jew in order to win Jews. To those under the law I became as one under the law, though not myself being under the law, that I might win those under the law. To those outside the law I became as one outside the law, not being outside the law of God, but under the law of Christ, that I might win those outside of the law. To the weak I became the weak, that I might win the weak. I became all things to all people, that by all means I might save some." And so I read that specifically to think of our lives and what it means to build friendships with those around us. Coming back from my first Kaleo, I was on fire and I was like, dude, I want to be able to share my faith with others. I want people to come to know Jesus. And I read this and I was like, wow, this really sticks out. I have to become a Dell. I have to go full-fledged to being a Dell. And I say this as a joke, but I'm being serious. This idea of, hey, I've been placed strategically by God in my affinity group to be able to share the gospel with people, for those people that are lost in that area. And so what that looked like practically is dude, coming back. I remember Rush was coming up and I was like, wow, this is so many lost freshmen about to come, be at our events that don't know Jesus. And so even before Rush, I remember specifically setting up our Rush events was hard and nobody wanted to do it. And so me, Noe, Spencer, just a couple of, Kyle, the guys that had just come back from our first club were the main guys out there hey, we want our property to look the best for the sole reason that people are going to come to our property, coming and wanting to know what it looks like. Oh, I want to party, I want to come to college, and instead, boom, gospel, they get to hear Jesus. But no, seriously, after that, Rush is coming up, after spending all this time preparing, and despite contrary belief, I actually don't love, being this giant frat guy, but I went to every single event for It was really hard. I had to stand on a stage and frat flip for an hour and a half. It was really tough. But I remember going to every single event with this mindset, not that, hey, I have to go and set up, and I have to go talk to all these kids, and I have to go do all these things that I really didn't care to be doing that much. Instead, I got to go be around a bunch of people who didn't know Jesus and were coming into college for the first time in their lives, looking for guidance, looking for a place of belonging, looking for something to fulfill them, looking for a purpose. And I had the answer to that solution that they had. And so knowing that, I went to every single restaurant, getting to meet so many people. And I remember being there one day, I went to the parties where I'm like, dude, what am I doing? I could just go inside and go to sleep right now. I don't want to be here. And as I was thinking that, I started walking back inside where I see a guy who's actively helping a girl. And I go and I start talking to this guy. We help this girl, we get her back with her friends. And I started talking with this guy. And that led to that guy, me being able to share the gospel with him a month later, him coming to know Jesus and being baptized in the fall. And there's so many other stories like that where I got to just go be around these people. God put us, and I'm speaking specifically for Greek Life because that's what I'm a part of, but all the different organizations and friend groups and people that we know, that we get to go be around these people. We get to know like this mindset, hey, I've been redeemed by Jesus. I know the summer I just experienced for at Kaleo. I know the goodness of God that I've been able to experience. And I have this vision that Jesus tells us where we're looking at our friends, we're looking at our affinity groups, we're looking at these people as harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. And like Jeremy had given us that great description of him on the ground. Those are our friends. And so that I got to live that out. Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
They're right here.
Yeah.
And they're stuck there unless a labor intersects their life. And so we get to go and live that out. And so I just want to say that as like this like almost like this war cry, like, hey guys, we get to go back. These freshmen are going to be coming on our campus. They're going to come meeting us for the first time in their lives, and they have no idea what they're getting themselves into. They're going thinking, hey, they're just going to come around. Some people that are, coming to college and getting to meet new people, whether it be like recruitment week, whether it be rush for fraternities, whatever it is. And you guys are placed in their lives by God for the sole purpose of witnessing. And I'm thinking back to this fall, like, I did a lot in this time. I spent a lot of time and made a lot of sacrifice to be able to go out. And like looking around this room, like, there's not a single person here that I led the faith. There's not a single like visible fruit that I could show y'all, be like, hey, like, look, this is what all my effort was for. But if I had to go back, I would do it 100 times again, knowing that I got to be obedient to the Great Commission, that God gave us a purpose. And that regardless of, I can't promise that, all this effort is going to lead to anything at all, because in my life it hasn't. But I get to know that, hey, out of that, I got to grow closer to the Lord. I got to obey the Lord and just got to experience the goodness of God that comes from when we get to obey what Jesus has commanded of us. So,
Yeah.
So good, dude. Thank you, Nico. Man, you're such an example. Sorry, I'm squatting down right here because there is one last thing before we break for lunch. I want to give you guys a glimpse into what is coming next after we leave Labor's Retreat. And so, first of all, DMG. This is like a stepping stone into DMG. We have launch group, and then we have two other meetings called Laborers Group for us to really date each other and to see like, hey, do you want to say yes to DMG, and do we want to say yes to you to DMG? And so this is like the next steps if you're wanting to be a part of the DMG this semester. First, attend the launch group meetings. They're going to be at First Presbyterian, right where our staff office is. The first one's going to be Thursday, August 28th, 5 to 7, dinner provided. The second one's going to be the next week, September 4th, from 5 to 7, dinner also provided. And in between those, I'd like you guys and staff to have conversations about the DMG commitments, and if you're willing and ready to commit to just the expectations of the spiritual leader that we're asking everyone to uphold and to commit to together in DMG. So consider, pray through those DMG commitments. If you don't have that paper still, ask for a staff person. We'll probably look at them one more time before DMG begins, just because when we're united around those commitments, I believe the gospel will go further, faster. And so that's why we want to be on the same page before we start. And then DMGs will begin the week of September 7th, and we'll figure those out when people do commit to DMG. Sowing season, something we just talked about. The first month of school is called sowing season. This is when we're meeting tons of incoming freshmen. Here's how you can partner with us and sow with us to be a welcoming face. First, find a target area of ministry if you don't have one. Do recruitment, or do rush, or go to organizing like an award fair, or find a target area of ministry that God might be putting on your heart to go pursue if you don't have one. Also, attend recruitment events to meet freshmen and form friendship like Nico did at the parties. He wasn't there for him. He was there for the glory of God's kingdom and those who don't know him yet. Join staff as we table and sow on campus. Next week, we're going to be on campus like all day, every day for Freshman Welcome Week. We'd love for you guys to reach out if you got time and just come meet freshmen with us. And then invite your lost friends to events during sowing season. Some of these events are going to be freshmen only, but some of them are going to be open to your friends as well. And we would love, we'll put this on y'all's radar again, but we're having a Minchie's tab and a Chewy's tab and a pickleball hangout and cookout next week, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evening. And we're doing those for freshmen, but we would love if all of y'all were available to come. I know not everyone's going to be available, but to be a welcoming face and to like show people, wow, this is what it looks like to be a Christ follower in college, and these people are awesome, and I want to take next steps to pursue Christ. If y'all are there, I think that will only increase the chance of people feeling that way as they come to our events. First Student Night is August 26th at the Grand Ballroom. This is a great event to invite your current friends who are sophomores, juniors, and seniors back to really kick off this semester on what matters most. And so really encourage you guys to recruit to that. Most importantly, though, is what Brendan really talked about this morning. Spend daily time alone with God is the best thing you can be doing, and being with God is better than doing for God. Yeah. So we want to champion that, prioritize fellowship throughout the week like you guys have already been doing. It's been so encouraging to watch. Keep confessing sin and reaching out when tempted. Y'all, Satan wants to sideline you. He prowls like a lion waiting to devour, and hidden, unconfessed sin is going to take you out of the game faster than anything else. So don't let Satan sideline you, all right? Reach out, confess sin. We're not going to judge you, look at you differently, because I'm in the same boat. I'm a sinner in need of a Savior, okay? Reach out, confess sin, spend time with your spiritual leader, and these foundational rhythms will lead you to be a mature laborer who multiplies disciples. Yeah, that's good. Last, get out your phone and scan this QR code because we are doing something special. We are doing serve teams that we want you guys to be a part of so that you can carry the torch of our movement and it not just be on staff. We would love for you guys to take ownership of the movement to where if staff were to leave, nothing would change. And one of those ways that we think is going to be better for your spiritual formation and the benefit of our friends in the movement is having you guys really come alongside and be hosts and servants, from emceeing to food and beverage to the welcoming of people at our events. And so go ahead and fill that out, ranking what you're most excited about to least excited about. Let us know if there's a little conflict with some of those times I put on the form. And we're going to try to put you guys into serve teams to be carrying the torch of our movement even more. Because when people ask me, who is Stuma? I'm going to say y'all. Yes, okay, explanation. The first one, MC. If you want to be MCing at Stumo nights, student leader meetings, tap that one. AV, you're showing up early to help set up the audio and visual equipment. Setup, tear down is really for like the chairs and tables, the decor, anything like that. The welcome team is, you're going to be the first face that people see as they're coming in, whether it's at a student leader meeting, getting people hyped, or at a Stumo night. Just think about like the KLPs and what they did at Stumo nights over the summer. The tunnel, getting rowdy. You're not necessarily going to do that at Stumo night, but you'll be friendly. And then food and bev. We're hosting dinners for like every student leader meeting. And so if you're on that team and you got a passion for cooking and helping out, that would be huge. So those are the 5 different serve teams that we are creating and asking you guys to consider being a part of. It's not like mandatory for you guys to be on a serve team. I don't want y'all to feel pressured, but I think it's a great opportunity for you guys to grow as servant leaders like Christ, and also to carry the torch of the movement. Yeah. It's good. So as you guys are finishing that, are there any questions about next steps after Laborers Retreat? Any questions about what's upcoming in our movement? Kiki.
What time is Stumo night at?
8:30 p.m.
8:45.
8:30. If you guys want a little sneak peek, I'm going to be giving the talk over why should I care? Why should I care about Jesus? aka why give a rip about Jesus? That's the question we're going to talk about. What's up, Spency?
Is there about chance the calendar being made for all these events?
Yes,
Okay.
there is a student ICAL.
The board says that the calendar is not, or that their email's not shared with you and it didn't ask you there.
That's so.
So I don't think you're gonna know, they're not gonna know.
All right, guys, screw the QR code in the form. It's pointless right now.
It was a test.
We didn't put a name on it for people to put their name.
Nice.
That's such a blunder. Hey, we'll send this out in the group meet later. Okay, we'll send it in the group meet. That'll be the easiest way. So sorry. Hey, at least you know what you want to do. Hey, any other questions before we have lunch? Any other questions? Hey, if questions do come up along the way, any staff person is in the know of all these systems and plans and can help you process things. Also, really do want you guys to seriously pray and consider the commitments of DMG because there's a cost. I'm gonna pray, so don't get too antsy, girls. Okay? But yeah, have conversations. All right, I'm gonna pray. We're gonna have lunch, and then we're gonna go to what's it called? South Shore Park for Olympics and hanging out. You're gonna wear swim trunkies, maybe some sunscreen, and a good bang time. And a water bottle. Yes, Nico.
The teams and everything's gonna get sent out for the second round of Lakers Retreat Olympics.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's we're playing volleyball. I didn't say that. We're playing volleyball practice and all that.
All right, let me pray, and then we'll have lunch. God, thank you so much for today. Thank you for the group of brothers and sisters in this room, God, and our family, our spiritual family that we get to just labor alongside and follow you together, making disciples for this stint of their lives. God, I just pray that you would give us each a deep desire to have communion with you. God, that we would enjoy time with you, that we would become faith leaders, and that we would sow friendships in the gospel broadly this upcoming semester. God, would you use us? Lord, would you grow our love for you? Lord, and would you bear fruit both internally and externally as we make disciples following you? Pray this in your name, Jesus. Amen. Amen. All right, have lunch and hang out for a few, and then we'll probably leave.